I never thought my whole marriage could shatter over one little question. But when I told my husband, "If I'm bored with you, why can't I test other men?" He didn't shout, didn't even argue. He just packed my bags, set them by the door, and closed it right in my face. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I'm Marissa, 32, living in what everyone calls a perfect suburban home outside Dallas with my husband Nathan. We've been married 6 years, have a cute little boy, and everyone thinks we're the dream couple. But honestly, my life is just so boring. Nathan is safe, dull, and too predictable. I'm prettier than all the other wives, and I know how to make people jealous, especially at family parties. My in-laws adore me, or at least pretend to. My mum says I won the lottery, and my friends always want my advice. But what they don't know is I crave excitement, attention, anything to remind me I could have any man I wanted. It started so innocently, really. I was just feeling restless, you know? Like I was wasting my best years on someone who took me for granted. So I started wearing more stylish dresses to my son's school events, posting bold selfies on Instagram, being a little extra friendly at family dinners. The attention felt incredible. Secret DMs started flooding in. Other wives would give me these jealous glances, and I could see certain husbands stealing looks when their wives weren't watching. I told myself it was harmless. I just needed a little fun in my boring suburban life. Then I started getting bolder with my friends and family. During girls' nights, I'd gossip about everyone else's marriages, exaggerating their problems to make myself feel better. I reconnected with Eric, an old work friend, and we started texting late at night. When Nathan would ask who I was messaging, I'd roll my eyes and tell him he was being paranoid. I complained to my sister constantly about Nathan's boring lifestyle, painting myself as this misunderstood wife trapped in a passionless marriage. The texting with Eric got more intense. Late-night conversations turned into flirty messages, then private photos. I hid our chats under fake contact names and told myself it wasn't real cheating since we weren't meeting in person. Yet, I loved the thrill, the secrecy, the way Eric made me feel desired again. When Nathan started noticing my phone habits, I'd gaslight him, calling him controlling and making him apologize for even bringing it up. Things got messy when Nathan's mother visited for the weekend. She made some innocent comment about how much time I spent on my phone, and I completely snapped. I stormed out of the room, then came back playing the victim, tears and all. I made Nathan feel terrible for not defending me against his judgmental mother. He apologized profusely while I secretly felt victorious. I grew bolder, arranging casual coffee dates with Eric. I'd come home late with elaborate lies about running errands or meeting girlfriends. The thrill was intoxicating. I started posting vague, attention-seeking stories on social media, cryptic quotes about living authentically and not settling. At our next family BBQ, I made sure to laugh extra loudly with Eric in the parking lot, knowing people would notice and talk. When Nathan finally asked if something was wrong in our marriage, I turned it back on him. I accused him of being emotionally neglectful and said maybe if he was more exciting, I wouldn't need to seek friendship elsewhere. I convinced myself I was the victim. He should be grateful I was still there, still trying to make our boring life work. Then I crossed the line completely. After a work happy hour, I went back to Eric's apartment and slept with him. Afterward, I told myself it wasn't real cheating because I didn't love Eric. It was just physical, just something I needed. I deleted all the evidence from my phone, but couldn't resist sending coded messages to my best friend about my amazing night out. I felt untouchable, like I was finally living again. At home, I became colder and more distant. I'd pick fights with Nathan over nothing. How he loaded the dishwasher, his boring TV shows, his lack of ambition. I made him feel worthless while painting myself as the suffering wife to anyone who'd listen. I even hinted to my mum that Nathan was emotionally neglectful. Meanwhile, I posted pictures of myself out at bars and restaurants, making sure Nathan's family could see them on social media. The friend group started getting suspicious when I kept disappearing during our girls' nights to text Eric. One friend, Sarah, finally confronted me and threatened to tell Nathan everything. I manipulated her into silence, swearing the affair was over while spreading rumors that she was just jealous of my happiness. The tension in our friend group became thick and uncomfortable, but I convinced myself they were all just bitter about their own boring marriages. That's when Nathan discovered everything. He found my secret phone hidden in my car and saw all the messages, photos, and evidence of my affair. But he didn't confront me immediately. Instead, he started acting strange, cold and distant, but eerily calm. I sensed something was off, but continued blaming him for being emotionally unavailable and boring. The confrontation came at our monthly family dinner with both sets of parents, siblings, and kids. We were all gathered around the dining table when Nathan suddenly stood up. His voice was calm but deadly serious as he announced he knew about my affair. He listed my lies methodically, then pulled out printed copies of my most cruel messages about him and read them aloud. My mother gasped, his parents looked disgusted, and my friend sat in stunned silence. Nathan had prepared everything perfectly. He'd already consulted lawyers, changed the locks, and informed our son's school that I was no longer authorized for pickup. In front of our entire family, he quietly handed me a packed suitcase and told me I was no longer welcome in our home. The humiliation was overwhelming. That's when I said it, the words that ended everything. In my desperation to explain myself, to make them understand, I blurted out, "If I'm bored with you, why can't I test other men?" The room went dead silent. Nathan didn't yell or argue. He just shook his head sadly, picked up my suitcase, walked to the front door, and set it outside. Then he closed the door in my face while my entire family watched in horror. I stood on the porch, completely humiliated, trying to call anyone who might help me. But my phone was already blowing up with angry messages. Screenshots of my cruel texts were circulating through all our family group chats. Friends were blocking me in real time. Even my own sister wouldn't answer her phone. I moved into a cramped studio apartment across town. I tried controlling the narrative on social media, posting glamorous selfies with captions about living my truth and new beginnings. But nobody was buying it. My friends had all blocked me, my family wouldn't return my calls, and Nathan's relatives were telling everyone exactly what I'd done. The isolation was suffocating. Work became a nightmare when word spread about my affair and the dramatic family confrontation. Co-workers whispered when I walked by. I was passed over for a promotion I'd been promised, and my boss started asking uncomfortable questions about my home situation. Even my favorite co-worker unfollowed me on Instagram. The worst part was losing my son. Nathan filed for full custody, using my messages and photos as evidence of my character. During our brief supervised phone calls, my little boy barely spoke to me. I'd see photos online of family gatherings I wasn't invited to, Nathan, our son, both sets of grandparents, and eventually a new woman who started appearing in their pictures. They all looked so happy without me. I became desperate, reaching out to old boyfriends and random men from dating apps, but nobody wanted to be associated with me. Word had spread through our social circles about what I'd done. I sent long, angry emails to Nathan blaming him, his family, my friends, anyone but myself. I stalked his new girlfriend obsessively on social media, analyzing every post and photo. The final blow came with the divorce papers. I'd lost custody completely, owed thousands in legal fees, and had to give up half of everything I thought was mine. That same week, I saw Instagram photos from a party our old friend group threw for Nathan and his new girlfriend. Everyone was there, laughing and celebrating, with hashtags about new beginnings and true love. I was blocked from viewing most of their accounts, but mutual acquaintances made sure the photos reached me. Now I sit alone in my dark studio apartment, scrolling through old pictures of the family I destroyed. I keep telling myself it's not my fault, that Nathan was too boring, that everyone else is just jealous and judgmental, but deep down, In the quiet moments I can't escape, I know the truth. Everyone is happier without me in their lives. I started typing another bitter social media post, something about fake friends and ungrateful husbands, when I saw it. Nathan's new girlfriend had posted a family selfie with him and my son at a baseball game. They were all smiling, genuinely happy, with the caption, "So blessed to have found my forever family." The rage and pain hit me all at once. I threw my phone at the wall, watching the screen shatter into a spider web of cracks, just like everything else I'd touched. The broken pieces reflected my face back at me in fragments, and for the first time, I saw myself clearly. Alone, bitter, and completely responsible for losing everything that ever mattered.